Here the president's probably worried about Shinseki. He should worry about the patient who's sitting out there now, 4 months, he hasn't heard from a doctor. That's who we should be talking about. That's the person the president should be thinking about, not the PR of himself or the credentials of the administrator, but the person out there who served this country and has got a real problem enough to go to a doctor, but no doctor will see him, even though that was part of isn't it the bargain when you go into the military? You at least be looked at when you come home, and these people aren't even being looked at, let alone treated. It's frightening. Senator Brown, again to you. What's the answer here, besides waiting for the president to do something? What do you want him to do?
Well, I want him to understand what's wrong. I want him to understand. I want to look at some context here of the
He got an IG report yesterday that said this is systemic. He said if it's systemic, I'm doing something. What's he doing? Not more study. He says he wants to hear from Rob Neighbors, his staff guy. He wants to hear Shinseki's own report. These are 2 more reports he wants. How long is this going to go on? We got a waiting list to hear from the president now. We have a waiting time. What's the waiting time to hear from Obama now? Is it going to be as long as the waiting time to see a doctor?
No, of course it can't be. And replacing Shinseki or not, I mean, I don't have strong feelings on whether he should step down, whether he should be fired, whether he should be kept. I have strong feelings on how you deal with the backlog. We've cut it in half.
11 Democratic senators have strong feelings, sir, and they've said so.
I understand that. I don't at this point in terms of what you do with Shinseki. I have very strong feelings about what you do with the backlog. That's why I've been very involved in that. I worked with, I've had traveled the state in the last few days with a Navy corpsman who has been very involved with the big idea about how to deal with concussions and how you get that as part of the soldier's record from the beginning. So when they go to the VA, they can make determinations and make it simpler and get the treatment they should get, which they're not getting now.
One last question.
That's up to the Department of Defense, so it's more complicated than that.
I work for you, senators, up there. I know where you've got a caseworker working for your offices out in Cleveland, out in Cincinnati, probably in Washington. Good caseworker, probably. Good person. If he got a call and he told you about it, or she got a call and told you at the end of the day, you know, I got a call from a veteran today who's been waiting 4 months to see a doctor. His name's Joe McGee. He's from Cincinnati. You would fire off a letter to the VA in Cincinnati, and you'd be on that guy's tail right now. So you say you don't know what you do. You know what you'd do if it was someone in your state who complained personally. So why are you so deliberative here in the sense of just, well, you don't have a strong feeling? You'd have a damn strong feeling if it was one of your constituents who complained, wouldn't you?
No, I have a very strong feeling about what we do with the VA and how we work to make sure that whether it's the Cincinnati or the Wade Park in Cleveland or Dayton VA or Chillicothe. But I don't think that, as I said, I just don't have strong feelings of what you do with Shinseki, but what will you do with the VA overall?
I get the feeling you'd have a feeling stronger than that if he was working for you. I'll tell you, if he was working for you in your Senate office and this kind of calamity occurred under that person's watch, what would you do to them?
Well, I'd sit down with them and understand what had happened. And if I weren't satisfied and there weren't the kind of accountability I'd obviously ask him to step aside. And that's the way this should be done. I don't know what decision he or the president's going to make, but I want them to deal with this in the way they should, with backlog all the way up in waiting times.